Welcome to Auntie K's Tarot, your favorite radical queer indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day. Hello everyone and welcome to Auntie K's Tarot. We're going to do a quick chat and cards before I go off to bed. If you're watching me, you most likely live in a westernized country, US, Canada, UK. That seems to be where most of my viewership comes from. And there is insanity around you as neoliberalism falls. And I know Canadians are confused, being like, I voted for neoliberalism. Why is it collapsing? Why does it suddenly sound very, very conservative? And wherever you are, some part of you is like, I don't understand. Why is this occurring? And I want to fix it. For the majority of you viewing who are sitting in a settler colony, likely one of the two occupying my lands, what are you trying to fix? Get out there and rebel. Rebel. Get out there and rebel. Complain. Bring this down. Support those who are doing this. But what is your goal? And if your goal is to save your country built upon oppression, and I think the few viewers who are living in the UK, this would apply to you too. Like, the UK is built upon oppression. The colonization of the globe by you has profited your country on our lands and on our colonization. So same applies. Like, what are you trying to save? When was it not oppressive? And are you just trying to save and rewind and get back to a time where you didn't feel threatened and oppressed? It was just others who felt threatened and oppressed. Notice how it's not just you and your country, that it's so global. It's time. It's time for something new. And there were waves of this globally as feudalism was falling, and those in power were successful in creating their next form of power and oppression, and that became capitalist colonialism. It is time for something very new. The last restart of an economy, feudalism to capitalist colonialism, it had a climate impact. We're already destroying the climate because of capitalist colonialism. We can't have a solution that needs to jumpstart an economy, oops the economy. We're already doing, or oops the climate. We're already doing that, and we're in. a solution that protects the environment will protect you. But it will seem scary because the normal you are used to living will change. I had a client so far this month. I'm going to make it random. Sometime this month I had a client. And the client and their person of interest come from two very different walks of life. And the person of interest's walk of life seemed scary to the client in ways that weren't actually scary. They were just really different than what my client was accustomed to. Globally, but more so in, the West, and, well, so much of the world, with few exceptions, globally, we need to go through a culture shock about how we live if we are going to survive this climate catastrophes coming and not just keep making it worse perpetually. And we have to stop allowing politicians to push this off to the future. As an Indigenous person, there was a cultural saying that annoyed the shit out of me. The eighth generation. Because people would talk about the eighth generation. The eighth generation, things will change. But this became a thing to be like, we're not going to be the ones who change it. The eighth generation will do it. Oh, we're not going to do the hard part. Our children will. We're not going to do the hard stuff. Our kids will. They can do it. Preferably after we pass away. That's what we're doing with the climate. And now I'm getting to the point, so I hope people are actually listening. Here at like 7 minutes and almost 8 minutes in, the actual point. When you're getting out there in the street, do not fight to save your country. Fight for a new world, one where oppression is not acceptable. And in that fight, you are going to include Palestine. You are going to include the Sudan. You are going to include the environment. You are going to include trans rights. You are going to include, that borders are ridiculous. And you are going to include indigenous rights. And it is going to be anti-racist. And it should absolutely be abolitionist. And we absolutely cannot have theocracies. And white people cannot decide the future. I'm sorry. No. No. From Rome to here, it's been a fucking disaster. No. That's my thoughts. Let somebody else lead and just try and trust that even though it's really different, it can't possibly be as bad as anything you people have come up with. Those are my thoughts. All right, I want to draw a card. And I've got next world. Page of Cups, the home of expression. Star Wars Tarot. The world. Look, I know I just said that a whole bunch of you don't get to decide what comes next. And you're like, I have it rough in this world too, and it is hurting me in all these ways. And I understand that we need to end oppression, and I have a lot to express too. Yeah. But just trust that some are maybe a bit more experienced at that. And instead, pull out your poetry book and start, expressing your journey of trusting in something completely different than what you know. And let somebody else take control and take the lead. We need a whole new start in this world. And this time, we need to have a completely different set of designers. A completely different set of designers than what we have. Not just the same old set with a brand new idea and makeover. And the truth about the Empire and the Republic is the Empire is the Republic. And this authoritarian world you are finding yourself in, it is the authoritarian world you were born in. It's just reaching its pinnacle, the purpose of its design. And you're like, well, you said it's all coming to an end. That is the purpose of its design. And to create people powerful enough to create the next model. Powerful enough to create the next model. And capitalism is about who gets to the top. And when you get to the top, you need a new form to prove you're the top still, right? Communism didn't cut it for that bill. Find a good book to express ourselves, and let the other side recreate the world we go forward into next. The West should not be creating the next world. It should not. It should not.